Parents, when did you first realize your child was different? For as long as I could remember, my daughter Emma never opened her mouth for me, or anyone else for that matter, because she was extremely shy and hated talking. I'll never forget the day I watched her through the school fence, setting up a tea party with empty chairs, pretending someone was laughing at her jokes. It was around this time that Emma started hanging out with a grown man named Mr. Patches. Mr. Patches was her imaginary friend, and at first, he seemed like a gift from the heavens. He gave her the type of confidence that kids can only get from friends, not family. I still remember how I felt when Emma came home with her first birthday party invitation. Sarah broke down crying in the kitchen. Our baby was finally being included, but within a couple months, Emma's life started revolving around Mr. Patches. She began having these long conversations in her room where we could hear both sides of the dialogue. She'd change her voice slightly for Mr. Patches. Her new friends from school refused to play at our house because Mr. Patches made them uncomfortable. Emma would tell them things like, "Mr. Patches doesn't like how loud you breathe." I brought it up to my wife one night and she said, "F them. If they can't handle Emma's quirks, they don't deserve to be her friend anyway." I agreed, because this was our precious Emma we were talking about. It wasn't until Sarah found Emma's drawings that she finally decided there was a problem, because right there on the sheets of paper was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. Emma had drawn a wholesome family portrait of us. I would have smiled like I always did whenever she drew us, but this time there was someone else with us. Behind us was this tall, dark figure with multiple arms and legs and eyes that ran down its limbs. Our baby son Jake also had X marks over his eyes. Emma had written, "Mr. Patches says Jake will see him soon," at the bottom. We tried to stay calm and asked Emma about the drawings. She instantly piped up and gave us the biggest smile we'd ever seen. "Yes, Daddy, isn't it great? Mr. Patches lives inside all of us now." My wife and I couldn't have left the room faster. Sarah actually hyperventilated and dropped to her knees sobbing, asking me what was wrong with our child. I didn't even know how to answer that question. Sarah and I felt helpless, and in the time we decided what to do with our baby, things took a turn I never expected. It began when our motion sensors started going off at 3 a.m. every morning. When I checked the security footage, I saw Emma walking through the house opening windows and unlocking doors. She'd stand there and smile creepily while gesturing for something or someone to come in. She waited a couple seconds and then closed the door and hugged thin air. I was so scared of who she was becoming, I didn't even know how to talk to her about it, so I just didn't. Until later that day, when Emma tried to unalive our newborn baby. It was feeding time, and Sarah looked away for 1 second. That was all it took for Emma to sneak in some eye drops into a sippy cup. She hid the drops behind her back and smiled innocently as she said it was just water. Sarah got scared and threw the cup into the sink. She opened her mouth to scold Emma, but she beat her to it. "You're ruining everything, I effing hate you!" She screamed so loudly I thought the windows were going to shatter. Sarah instantly trembled. I'd never seen her look at Emma with fear before. It was then that I realized we had let things go too far. I told Emma she needed to apologize to her mom and that she couldn't continue being like this. What she was doing was causing us harm. I braced myself for her to burst into tears or even just to go nonverbal, but no. Instead, she lunged at Sarah and scratched her face until red was showing. "You're just jealous because he loves me more than you." As soon as I got her off, she ran to her room and barricaded the door with her dresser. From the outside, I could hear her repeating, "I'm sorry, I love you. I'm sorry, I love you," over and over. At that point, Emma was the least of my worries. I took Sarah to urgent care and got her patched up. She kept asking me to help our daughter, that she wasn't being herself. I told her we would handle it as soon as we made sure she was okay. I wish I had known that it was the last time I'd ever see my daughter again. The girl I saw the next day wasn't Emma, or not really anyway. I was fast asleep at 2 a.m. when I heard static on the baby monitor. My heart was pounding as I ran to Jake's room at full speed, wondering what Emma had done to him now. From the hallway, I could spot a large shadow emerging by his crib. What I saw next made my insides twist. Emma was standing over his crib with scissors in her hands. Her eyes were completely unfocused, like she was sleepwalking. "Mr. Patches says if we fix his eyes, he can always see him," she said. I tried to grab the scissors, but she fought harder than I'd ever seen her fight. She kept crying, "Mr. Patches says this is the only way he'll forgive me. He says Jake needs to see him." I could hear the sirens outside. Emma kept cackling and repeating, "He's touching your shoulder right now, Daddy. Can't you feel his fingers?" Full story on channel, link below.